what we're about at Adolfo, instilling confidence, which is what's missing the most out of our youth.
How do you do that? Because in my mind, I think about I don't know, Asians. You know, if something happens to an Asian over here and it's, you know, on a large, if it's glamorized or exposed on the media, you know, there's a country, a flag that stands behind those. There's repercussions for that. And then if it's an Italian or anybody of any race, you know what? It's somebody that, you know, you have to answer to somebody. And then when I start thinking about us, when I look at people of color, I think of this is my brother. Whether he knows it or not, he's my brother. But then there's a certain kind of stigmas in our community. Like, well, I know you're from Africa, but a lot of times when I talk to African Americans, so-called African Americans about Africans, you know what? They say things like, "Oh, that African think he better than me," or that Jamaican think he better than me. And then I spoke to Africans who say, you know what? These people have been Americanized. They're not African. They just, you know what? They're a part of this and a part of that. How do we stop? Because in my mind, we are people of color. And it doesn't matter what continent we on. It's like you try to make us seem like we the minority. But if we break down the walls of separation, then actually we the majority because the people of color run the world to one degree or another. How do we touch on that, and how do we change that mindset?
I want to speak on what I'm about to say is going to summarize everything that I heard from the Queen on down from the brother. I'm going to give a brief summary, and it's going to tie into what you just asked. I would like to take the listeners' minds as well as the people who are here, the sisters and brothers that are here right now physically. I want to take your minds, I want to place your minds in the mind frame of as say if we were oncologists, okay?
What's that?
And for those who don't know what an oncologist is, it's a doctor that deals with cancer, okay? Now, we're not going to deal with the different types of cancer. We're just going to deal with cancer as a disease, as an ailment, as an affliction. White supremacy is going to be symbolic of this cancer. Okay. The African collective body worldwide is going to represent a functional, healthy, purified, alkaline body that is cancer-free. And now what we're going to do, we're going to take the white supremacy, which is the cancer, and use it as a single cancer cell and inoculate and place it inside of that healthy body. And that healthy body is Africa or Africans of antiquity, prior to the invasions. And all of the symptoms that we are talking about, all of the effects comes from this cancer taking root amongst healthy cells and affecting and damaging healthy tissues, healthy organ systems, and therefore affecting the entire African body politic as a culture. So now when we say, prior to this infection, there was no black homosexuality. There was no black African men raping our women because our culture was defined by a whole nother principle called Mayat. And for those who don't know what Mayat is, it represents truth, justice, order, balance, and reciprocity. And I left out harmony. So what I'm getting at in summary is all of the effects, all of the symptoms, whether it's black on black crime or whatever back we want to piggyback on, it all stems from the infection of this cancer called white supremacy. Because prior to that, we had a healthy African body.
Let me say, for the most part, I agree with most of all I've heard. Once again, it's hard for me to, just the way I am as a person, my makeup, because I believe in having a healthy community. What the challenge I always have, because I can look at him and say, this is my brother, don't know him from Adam House Cat, me and him don't have the same mom, don't have the same dad. Is it wrong for me to tell my white counterpart that's my brother or sister?
Pardon me?
Is it wrong to say that? See, now,
that's a question.
Once I strip the skin away.
Right, but that's a question that you, as a brother, you have to answer that.
Yeah, I'm going to answer that for myself.
Right, you have to answer that for yourself.
Because the thing is, for me, is I know who's been I know who's been a support for me.
Right.
I know who showed genuine love on both sides, white and black. You see what I'm saying? And so for me, and I definitely want to come out there and support y'all on some stuff too, man. I love what y'all doing out here.
Who moved in, Mike?
Oh, I'm sorry. so used to the other mic.
You got the
But
Al Be Sure thing going on.
like I said, I love what y'all doing, man, as far as community. Because to say that, what you're saying is, if it's all that, then if a white homeless man come up, should I feed him?
That's a choice that you would have to make. I myself, I would not feed him.
Asian?
I would not feed him.
Oh,
Because the reason why I would not feed him or them is because I am black first.
okay.
My first responsibility and my first priority is my own people. And I'm not going to feed my enemy.
So can I ask one last question?
Yes.
Are you guys working with African Americans to give them their identity as black people without regard of the fact that we are in a global nation? In other words, right now as we are talking, the people in Africa can hear you, because I had my brother from Africa
That's what's up.
write me, and he was saying the black race is not endangered, but the black race needs to rise up to its potential.
I agree.
We have great potential in us. We have great intelligence. We are powerful people. And the minute we realize our potential, we can rise above, build businesses, because my brother is a businessman. We can build businesses and change the world. So are you saying this? Because when I hear you say you wouldn't feed an Indian and you wouldn't feed a white person, again, I don't quite get that, because the idea is that when I'm autonomous, when I have freedom, I then am free to live my life as I want it, but to also help mankind, regardless of who you are, where you come from, find theirs. Right. Are we going the route of what the people who colonized Africa and the people who brought Africans here as slaves, are we going through the same mindset that will end up bringing the same problem in the future?
Would you like for me to answer that?
Yes.
Most definitely I will. I would first like to say that by way of African proverb, okay, revenge is not wickedness. That comes out of Africa. It's an African proverb. And when I say revenge is not wickedness, by way of nature, nature has truth and justice. Is it just for the ant to bite you if you destroy its home? Does the ant feed that which seeks out to destroy us or destroy it? Now, the doctor that was just here who spoke prior to us coming on, he spoke of a genocide, okay? Now, here we are presented with a case wherein we are being asked to consider, we are being asked, mind you now, to consider the hunger and the livelihoods of those who have always set out to destroy us as a people. To me, that would be suicidal. Now, by way of culture, we have been split culturally as a people by way of culture politics, which is why I will not seek to step on your toes as a queen, and I will not seek to step on my brother's toes as a king, because I am aware of what has happened to us by way of the definitions of the cancer. The cancer it divides the healthy cells within inside of the body. So if you're not on the same wavelength, or if your experiences are not or have not been the same as those of us who are speaking and taking this position, I would not even expect for you to agree with me right now. The only thing that I can hope is that you will attach yourselves with the same information that helped to shape and mold us, wherein one day we can come together on this common ground and think and be in alignment with this truth. But I'm not going to debate it, and I'm not going to hate you or have any animosity towards you for feeling that way. The only thing I could do is just stand on my position.
Let me just say this one
Let me do this, because we're going to go to our last caller, and then we're going to come back. Just hit the button, right? Okay. Instinct Radio, you're tuned into the Dana Butler Show. Caller. Okay.
Brother caller,
Okay,
man.
so that was our time.
Yeah, you can let them back in.
Okay, can I just say something real quick? The reason I asked the question is because I'm thinking about the listener, and I know there could be a listener out there that has that question. It's not really personal per se. It's just that when you're on a show like this one, you will have to think about the listeners and kind of figure out what type of questions they would like to ask. And that way, we give you, our guests, the opportunity to address those questions so that the listeners get to hear your view on the point, so it's not personal.
We'll try a list, one of the callers again. Are we ready for it?
Yes, 1 second. Put it on hold.
And then we're going to hold. What button is that?
Left side.
Okay, that's the hold. Do I keep it on there or?
Just press hold.
Okay, but this like.
No, just press hold.
Okay. You're real good with children. It hung up. Hello?
No, did you press the hold button?
I was holding the
I
hold
just
button.
asked you to press it.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing wrong.
Okay. So, you know what? I want to touch on that. And I always have an opinion about certain things. And then I have people of all kinds of backgrounds. I got very religious people. I got people. I don't know who this is, but we don't. How do I do it? Just hit the red button.
Just take the call.
Instinct Radio. This is the Dana and Butler Show.
Yes, hi. How are you?
I'm all right, sister. How you doing?
I'm good. I was calling because I was listening in on the show, and I wanted to make a comment about identity.
Okay.
It was Brothers and Kofa that was speaking about identity, and I was just calling because I actually work at a university. I'm not going to say the name of the university, but I will say that identity is a big issue as far as who do they identify with and how do they identify with it. We were having a discussion in one of the classes. It was an African American history class, and basically it's at a predominantly white school, but the class is 98% African American, and it's not a required course; it's an elective course. So it's like they just push them in the class. But the comment that I want to make is they do struggle with identity. We were in that class, and basically they were asking the students about history and how they felt about history, and they were basically saying how they, in all their years, they don't learn about who they are, so they really have nothing to identify with. And throughout all these years, they've learned a certain way, which was European or Western. And I think that that's a good thing that you guys are touching on identity because it's a big issue. And I just wanted to ask you as far as how do you expand past, because you said you work with children. And I'm at a university, and they don't even know how to identify with themselves. So how is it that you would work with a more, I wouldn't say a younger crowd as far as what you work with now, but how would you take your doctrine and expose it to a 20 to maybe 27-year-old crowd?
Great question.
Well, I'll go ahead and jump in on that. 20 to 27, a lot of times the personality is set. You know, it's a sad part of the, reality of what we have to deal with. That's the reason why in our program we primarily focus on the youth from a young age. Because once a lot of people, their personality is set in, their philosophies are set in their mind, it's done. Not saying that they can't be changed, but a lot of people at that age are fixed. That's why Adolfo primarily targets the youth.
Okay.
I want to just touch on that real quick. That was a great question, and I do have hope for that age range. Outside of Adolfo, I'm also an author as well as a poet. I think that spoken word could help tremendously in that area of that age demographic. I'm not sure if y'all YouTube urban black poetry. You have a lot of brothers and sisters who are really not where we're at with our mentality about what it is to be black and the struggle that we're facing and the direction that we're going in. But a lot of these poets, these young black poets are really, really learning and through poetry gaining a self-identity for themselves. So I would say introduce to them a creative writing class or have a poetry contest where you create the topic. You create the topic about something, a black experience, or have them write a poem about a black experience and then create a reward for it. Create a reward where they really put effort into it and try to be the best at it. Bring poetry to them or a creative writing class.
And I would like to say, just just to add on to what the brothers have initiated. I'm going to come from another perspective: tragedy, loss, affliction, overt oppression. A lot of times when you're dealing with the black man at that age group, sometimes the comfort zone has to be snatched away by way of a reality in order for him to come in contact with certain truths. And I'm speaking on that from experience.
I'm gonna piggyback off that. Well, when we speak about truth, and then we'll go around and close because we've gone past our time. In reference to truth, and it is in my, like I was saying, like I have people who they are extreme in some of the things that they do, and like I got apostles and preachers and Muslims and leaders and politicians, and everybody is told they have these extreme ways of looking at certain things. And then you know what, in my mind, I'm just like, you know what, I don't doubt that you believe what it is that you believe. I don't question it, but I'm a seeker of truth. And it is in my understanding that if you stand behind truth, if that's what you promote, then eventually, if I keep searching for truth, I'll get to that truth. And it's not, I can't point at an individual who is popping mileage and whatever, because I don't know if you're seeking truth, but if you begin to seek truth, you'll begin to see what needs to be seen. And I think that a lot of our leaders that in certain sectors, people got thousands and thousands of followers, and you're in this big church and it's doing this, and I'm not saying nothing against people with churches. I'm just saying if you really seek truth, then you'll come to the truth. A lot of times I don't think that we actually seek truth. What we do is we follow in with our leaders, and we take what they believe is truth and we'll try to adopt it to our lives. And that's not always where we need to be. So I question everything. I don't care who you are, what you stand for. I always question everything, but I always seek truth. And I believe that if I continue to do that, then I'll get to where you think I ought to be. We have surpassed our time. What we're going to do, we're going to go in order. Let the people know how they can get in, who you are, how the people can get in contact with you. If you got last words for them, give them that, and we'll get up out of here. We'll start with you, brother.
Once again, I'm Kwadwo Ajiman. I can be found on Facebook by going to Timon Brown. That's Timon Brown, and you'll see Kwadwo Ajiman on my cover photo as well. My last remarks are pay attention, observe, listen, study. If you're parents of your children or parents of children and you're interested in going beyond what the school system is giving them, build your own home libraries. If you can watch 3 to 4 hours of TV a night, you can sit down with your family and have a study group for an hour or two a night before you go to bed. And with that, stay black, stay powerful, and stay alive, and stay free. And to all my comrades, whether free or captive, my love and my power be with you. And that's all I have to say. And it was a pleasure to be here. Very empowering.
All right.
Brother Nguvu, check out the book, The 7 Principles for Raising Black Sons, a practical hand guide for single black mothers. It is a next level publication, but you can get the book on Amazon.com. Again, that is The 7 Principles for Raising Black Sons. I want to close by just thanking the brother for welcoming us on to the show, for giving us an outlet to let everybody know what we got going on. A lot of what this is about is just getting up off your behind and doing something constructive. Mm-hmm. We got to come out to the program. Come out. We're at West End Park from 11 to 1:30 every Saturday, rain, sleet, or snow. Also, I want to touch that if you do decide to come out to the program, it is only a program for black people. Honestly, white people, other races are not allowed. Mm-hmm. Feel about how you want to feel about it. And also know that we are a revolutionary, militant-minded program. We teach black pride, we teach African pride, and we teach to be sufficient for ourselves and to only feed ourselves. Because right now, black people are more hungry than any other race of people. So no, if I have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I'm going to find a black person to give it to. I don't care if an Asian boy or a black or a white girl comes up to me and is hungry. I'm going to go out my way to find somebody who's black and who's hungry.
Okay.
All right, Brother Sankofa. One thing I want to say is, we went over a lot of different topics today, and thank you, brother, for allowing us to come on. Greatly appreciate it. We need this platform, and thank you for the work that you do. But we ask for solutions about black problems, and we always want to bring other races of people into it. We can't deal with our problems with other people. We have to put ourselves in a box, lock ourselves in a room, deal with our problems, and then we can worry about everybody else. But right now, we have to fix our own problems with our own people. And with that said, the director of Adolfo Coalition would like to invite you out. We're there every Saturday from 11 to 1:30. And I would like to end with the words of my most revered ancestor. I am a revolutionary. Fred Hampton, Ashe.
Ashe.
Well, I'm Pastor Jennifer from Tabernacle of Peace Ministries. We meet at 5154 Villas Terrace. It was an honor to be here. It's always nice to listen to other views on issues, but all are welcome at our church, regardless of color, black, white, yellow, blue. Everybody is welcome. We believe we are all children of God. And I want to invite you out. We start our services at 10 a.m. You are an amazing human being. There's nothing you cannot overcome. God built you with the building blocks of success. Given the opportunity, given the right word, you can excel. So I want to encourage the 27-year-olds that the Adolfo has no program for, that you can change too. You can rewrite your story. You can find out who you are, and you can connect to your heritage and become everything God called you to be. So there's hope for you too. God bless you.
Once again, my name is Omar Howard. I'm founder of Freedom is a Choice Incorporated, which is geared toward encouraging our youth to choose freedom over incarceration. Of course, incarceration can be a multitude of things, from prison to a mindset. My words today would just be, you see a platform of men and women here, and definitely there's a major problem going on in our community, and I believe we do have to definitely challenge some things that's going on in our community and the mindsets of our community as well. So, and we're definitely in more need of more men to start standing up, man, and becoming a solution and stop being a part of the problem. And so, of course, we have to challenge ourselves, man, and become and change the way we think and the way we do things. But you can find me on Facebook, Omar Howard. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter. Or you can just call me at 404-558-2513. Just looking forward for a great week, going into the prisons, going into the juvenile, speaking with the kids. Even looking forward to trying to come out and help the guys sometime, man, come out there and feed, because I like doing that type of stuff. Definitely giving back to the community. So, and grateful being a part of this Damon Butler show and all the people that he's brought on this stage. It's definitely good to be amongst great men and great women. Amen.
I appreciate everybody. Oh, I got the mic. I appreciate everybody for coming, man, and sharing your views and just taking the time out your day. A lot of stuff going on, man. I appreciate the platform I've been given. I first want to touch on our book of the month. It's going to be the 7 Principles for Raising Black Sons, and you can get that book Amazon.com, and please go out and purchase this book. I'm gonna read this book, and we're gonna start having a lesson of the month. That's what we're gonna start. We're gonna have to do something where we slowly but surely. I'm not doing the whole magic trick thing, but if it's a word a month, then it's something that we can touch on, and we can start exposing those people who may not know that they're necessarily interested in certain things. And the same thing with Pastor. Emotional intelligence. There are certain elements that we need to touch on a weekly and a monthly basis. Same thing with what Omar got going on. Everything that everybody has, I think that if we expose everybody to it, then we put some type of goodness into the world. That's what my mission statement is always changing, but some of the key elements is this, that I have an obligation to my ancestors. And with that being said, you know what? It's a fight, and I may not get to the finishing line. I may not be a part of the celebration. I may not even see victory, but it's my obligation to fight to the death. And I don't have no qualms about that. And I don't have no misunderstanding about that. And the longer I live, the more I begin to understand about myself, the more effective I become in that fight. So whatever I need to do that, it's not an overnight process. But I challenge myself. And I put myself in a situation where I can gain more insight on myself, my people, in the world at hand. And that's it. That's all I live for, is that obligation to my ancestors. Nothing else really matters at this point in time. I'm thankful to Instinct Radio for giving me a platform. I'm thankful for Diane and Henry for making me. And I'm here, and I plan to have a positive effect on the world. This is Instinct Radio. This is the Dana Butler Show. We'll see you guys next week.
Salute. A BB for Hodier. Black Power.
In the world, playing all of today's hits. You're listening to Instinct Radio.